it's no secret that I have a few Traxxas rigs around, in particular the TRX4 and the TRX4Ms. However, today I would like to talk about an issue that seems to be reoccurring, and it's with the stock radios. Let me know if you've been having issues with your stock radio. After enough years, sometimes stock things just kind of go awry. You know, you fry a radio here and there, or a receiver. But the issue that I'm actually having is that these things just keep coming unbound on me. And it's getting to a point that it's extremely frustrating, really frustrating. Went out to crawl with my kids the other day, a couple weeks ago, I guess, and I had just used the rig like a few days before we filmed with it. It was working just fine. Then I go out there and it does nothing. And I didn't have my phone on me. I didn't have the ability to just look up how to rebind the radio, which is a pain in the butt anyways. So we went out there and we left. It was a day where I was just having gremlins, I guess. Not only that, but one of my other rigs wasn't working properly. I guess the BEC was going in and out, so the radio wasn't coming on for me. But I'm getting really frustrated with it. This has happened to every single one of my vehicles now, except for the TRX6. And on that one, the throttle channel stopped working. All the other channels work, the radio binds and it works, but something happened along the way, and now the throttle channel won't register anything on there, which is a weird thing to break, but it did at any rate. So I'm at the point to where a couple of the TRX4Ms still have the stock radio, and that's about it. All the rest of them, I'm having to replace them. But what I'm wondering, and what I've read about, is now the RadioMaster 4-in-1s, I think they have a Traxxas protocol on them. So there's a chance that setting up a TRX4 that has, not a sport version at least, but it has your 2-speed on there. It's got your front and your rear selectable diffs, and then you've got your throttle and you got your steering on there. So that's 5 channels that you need. You can get away with 4 channels if you don't want your diffs to be selectable front or rear. If you just want all on, all off, you may be able to mix it, but honestly, it's a lot easier with 5 channels because they throw in opposite directions. So you either need a servo reverser in there, or you just need to be able to use 5 channels, or you've got to get rid of something like the 2-speed. And on something that has all of the features, I kind of want all of the features. And I went to set up a RadioMaster MT12, and you can actually daisy chain their receivers. So they're set up stock to where if you turn them on and it doesn't bind with anything for 60 seconds, it starts to throw out a Wi-Fi. You connect to the Wi-Fi, you can go in there, and then you can redefine what channels it is. Then when it's bound, you can actually have 2 receivers bound at the same time to your radio, and one will be channels 1 through 4, and the other one will be 5, 6, 7, 8. And that actually works, and it's cheaper than buying a 7-channel or 8-channel receiver by itself. So that's what I've been trying to do. However, it takes a long time. It's kind of a pain in the butt, and on top of that, the mixing for it is, maybe a little daunting, so I haven't quite gotten there. But what I am thinking is it would be a lot easier if I could get a 4-in-1, and now I'd still have to do the mixing. There's probably a guide out there, but I can figure it out at this point. I guess I'll be the one putting out the guide for that if they do have it where the 4-in-1s will now bind with Traxxas. You let me know in the comments if that is actually a thing, or if I'm just reading fever dreams on Reddit or whatever, but I'm pretty sure that is now a thing where they have the protocols. And I would just get a second radio, because this one is not the 4-in-1. This is the ELRS system, and I kind of need 2 radios if I'm going to go out with my kids. 3 radios, honestly, if I'm going to go out with my kids. But if I have at least like a TRX4M that still works with a stock radio, then I can have a 4-in-1 that also works with the stock radios, and then I can have this guy that works with whatever I'm going to drive. So I've got so many radios around. Let's just start pulling them. It's at the point to where I've got to do something about it. There's too many. There's way too many, and I haven't done a great job at labeling them. What do you do when you have this many? Well, we've got this one. This one isn't. That's not a stock radio. Let's see. Oh, there's like piles of them hiding in here. Oh, here's some more. Here's some more over here. I've got, let's see, we've got this guy over there, that guy over there. At any rate, I don't need to, get them all out, but I'm starting to collect a lot of radios. This is only one of my many Traxxas radios. I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then at the other house, 8. I would have 8 Traxxas ready to run radios, and that's only one of them represented here. It's getting out of hand, and I've just got to do something to get this under control. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to get one of the 4-in-1s because I would like to be able to use my vehicles, and since a lot of them are Traxxas based still, I gotta move on, I suppose. The stock radios, they're not bad by any means. The trigger on them is pretty atrocious. I mean, you can even probably hear how sticky this one is. But I always like to test with stock radios on my electronics, because if I can make it smooth with a stock radio, then that means it'll be even better with a nice radio. So that's why I keep them around, is when I go to test, I want to test it out with a stock radio. And I can tell you that ones like this have really bad low-speed control to them. They don't have a lot of throttle positions on there. The old axials were actually pretty good. The new tactics are actually pretty good, but the ones that come with Element in particular, they've got really poor throttle control because they just don't output enough positions of throttle. So that is one thing that I've learned over the years is, hey, if I'm running a stock system and suddenly my electronics just aren't good at low-speed control, which radio is it? Let's take a look. And the ones from Associated, the ones that come with the Element, they can be problematic. So those I usually switch out pretty quick, and then we know to recommend to customers, hey, if you've got some problems with low-speed control, it's your stock radio in that particular case. So I think that's about all the rant that I have on this for today, but I would love some recommendations. Maybe I should step away from the MT12, but honestly, I've always been a Futaba guy, and this is really close to the handle, the feel, and the balance of a Futaba, and it is also a lot lower in price. And since we can bind to so many different things, all of my stuff that is Fly Sky, the 4-in-1s I know will bind to that, and I've got a lot of radios that have the Fly Sky or the equivalent, the Fly Sky. We've got a lot of Fly Sky stuff, and this guy's getting really old. It's really hard to do mixes on this as well. Even though it's a hacked version, the mixes are not self-explanatory. Honestly, even though the RadioMaster is difficult to a lot of people, this was far worse. It just was not self-explanatory. The menus are really difficult to go down, and being hacked, it also didn't really follow along with the heads-up display. So yeah, that's where we're at now, is I need to step up my radio game once again, and we'll get it figured out. But if you do have any suggestions, I would love to hear them on this, because I am getting a little overwhelmed with the radios, and it's time to fix them up. So as always, thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.